very excited to be joined on the phone by the IHSA Executive Director, Craig Anderson. Craig, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. Yeah, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem. You've been on with us before, and you agreed to come back on with us. So that's dangerous by any means. Just tell us, what's the last 18 months been like for you and your IHSA team?
Yeah, it's been quite a whirlwind for us here as a staff, and of course with our students and school administrators and coaches. I mean, everybody in education, I think, has been influenced significantly, and it unfortunately is going to continue a little bit with the recent action by the governor. But really excited about it's crazy to think how excited you could be about returning high school football to the fall. And that really is creating some excitement around here, along with all of our other sports. We're just excited that we've started on time and anticipate culminating with all of our state championships this fall and for the rest of the school year.
Craig, are there any new rule changes that we need to be aware of, or any precautions that are going to be taking place this season for the players?
You know, we instituted a number of those things last year. People will probably recall if they got out in the spring to watch some football, expanded the sideline, took, breaks in the middle of the game. But we are planning returning everything to normal in regards to rules and, just conducting the football contest according to NFHS playing rules. And, we think that it'll be successful. Right now, at least, we're clear to go. No masking when we're outdoors, and so that's exciting that kids can compete in normal. So, no significant changes. It's exciting to return to the rules and traditions that we know about high school football.
So what you're saying is high school football will look the way we expect it to look, the way we remember it looking from 2 years ago?
Yeah, that's what we anticipate today. Obviously, everything is fluid and things could change, but as we're speaking here today, yes, it should look the same. We should see teams competing in a full 9-game regular season, followed by a playoff series, culminating with state championships this year in DeKalb at NIU. And so, it's exciting. It seems odd to create so much excitement about what we knew about normal, but that's where we're at.
Craig, is there mandatory testing throughout the season that's going to go on a weekly basis for the players?
There isn't currently. The recent guidance from IDPH has provided some recommendations related to testing, but that's really left up to local schools or conferences to determine if they're going to take advantage of that. I do understand that there are some free testing kits that the state is willing to distribute when schools ask for it. But as an association, we haven't instituted a testing requirement for our schools prior to schools competing. So that's a result of it not being mandated, but just being available. And schools that choose to and want to, will definitely work with them to try to get the testing kits out to them so that they could follow through with that testing opportunity.
I think getting ready for this fall season is a little bit different than what you guys went through with the postponements and shuffling seasons around. How much input did you get this year from individual conferences, superintendents, ADs, as opposed to what you guys did when no one knew what was going on? Is it more? Is it less? Are you taking just more input this year?
Over the summer, when we hit phase 5 in early June and we generally had a traditional summer, we really didn't hear much. And, I think because the success of summer activities, schools engaging in their contact days across all sports, we really didn't hear very much from anyone. And I think, early on in June, we kind of communicated that we anticipated that we'd return to our traditional schedule, traditional timelines for seasons. And we didn't hear anything back that suggested otherwise from any school folks. So, it causes us to believe that out in our membership, our schools, they feel similarly to us that we can get this going and they'll take safety precautions, of course, to keep kids safe. But yeah, we really haven't had much different input as opposed to as we were navigating and trying to fit in schedules last winter and spring when we finally got to get sports going.
You brought up contact days, and that leads me to the next question. Contact tracing was a big problem with some during the basketball season, especially if you were in close contact with somebody that tested positive. You were out as well. Are we going back to contact tracing for all our fall sports?
Yeah, those decisions are local. During all of last year, we didn't, as an association, have a specific policy related to that. Local health departments were making those determinations. So that process remains the same. As schools discover that they've had students with a positive test, they'll work closely with their local health departments to determine what that means for students and for fellow athletes, teammates, and deal with that in a local situation. So we didn't have a policy for that, and we won't at the start of this school year, but again, leave it up to the local schools and local health departments to make those decisions.
Craig, hopefully the season goes without a glitch, but should somebody test positive on a team, what actions are going to be taken as far as schedule adjustments? Is it still that the team would have a 2-week reprieve from the season?
Well, again, those are all local decisions to be made. If what we've determined this year, because of the playoffs and wins and losses becoming important for playoff qualification, is that should a team, because possibly of a local test and the quarantining of a group of students by the local health department, should a team be unable to continue with competition in a week or over 2 weeks, if they just can't, they don't have the players to compete, then that will become a forfeit loss for that team, and the team on their schedule they were supposed to play will get a forfeit win. And that's simply a result of this year, the wins and losses being important as we prepare for the playoffs. And in Illinois, not everyone qualifies for the playoffs. It's a number of based upon the season wins. So that is a little bit of a change this year. Last year, without conducting a playoffs, we really just counted those games that couldn't be played as a no contest. But this year, that will be different. A team that couldn't resume play to compete on a weekend of a game that's scheduled will have that outcome.
So it sounds like makeup dates aren't a thing. Is that a mandate, for the lack of a better term, or guidance from your office?
So yeah, the challenge we have in football is for student safety. We can't really double up games in a week. So we'll work with schools if they think they've created a schedule that allows enough time in between games. But generally, it's got to be at least 4 and more likely 5 days before we're comfortable with approving a contest to be played. So, if they're quarantined for 4 to 5 days, it's going to be tough to get a game rescheduled within a time frame that keeps player safety in mind. And therefore the challenge that we have. Now, that's different than a number of other sports. Volleyball is an example in the fall. If a team has to quarantine, our first suggestion to the schools will be look to reschedule contests before you maybe forfeit a contest because that's a sport that you can play multiple days in a row. But that's not the case for football. So that safety factor of consecutive games within a very short time frame with no rest, we just got to be really careful with that.
Will you allow for late reschedules? Say team A and B are playing, and team C and D are playing, and team B and C can't play the game. Would you allow teams A and D to then last minute schedule a game for that week?
For sure, yeah. If it's an opportunity to get players an opportunity to play, we definitely would. It would create a situation where those two teams that are playing that given weekend would would accept the outcome of that game on their schedule. But as long as schools are willing to do that, and I expect they will, we'll allow them some flexibility just so kids get an opportunity to play.
And then we've been focusing on football a lot here, but there's a lot of other fall sports out there. Anything that sticks out as being out of the normal for any of the other sports this upcoming season?
Yeah, the only one that and then we've been dealing with it quite a bit is volleyball being an indoor sport, and with the governor's mandate for indoors, students, staff being masked, our volleyball teams will be competing with masks. Now we are hearing that some schools are going mask optional, which is a local decision, and we'll respect that. But when they do that, then now we're telling our schools they need to correspond with the other teams on their schedule to determine how a contest is going to be played with or without mask. One team with mask, the other without. So volleyball right now is created a lot of discussion simply because it is indoors. But our other sports that are outdoors, we're much like football. We see all of those things returning to normal. Cross country, golf. We're girls tennis, girls swimming and diving. We're just excited that we're returning and look forward to some really a successful fall season.
And then my last one, fan restrictions. Obviously, a local school district can do whatever they want. But as far as you guys are concerned, any fan restrictions for any events?
No, not from our office. Yeah, the school's regular season, and we anticipate as we head into the state series in a couple months and in all of our sports that there won't be spectator restrictions. So, in the regular season, that's always a local decision, but we don't anticipate anything coming from our office indicating that there would be restrictions in spectators.
Awesome. Well, Craig, I'm sure you have a bunch of much more important things to do today. I'll let you get going. Before I go, did I miss anything to ask you? Anything you want to share with Northern Illinois here?
Yeah, I guess across the state, it's reassuring to as I mentioned, I'm just excited about us resuming the fall, and would encourage folks to get out and support our student athletes that are back competing in their traditional schedules. I don't think we'll have as much excitement as we've seen for decades in high school sports as we are going to in this school year. As students return, they're going to return to with the values of education first and sports second. And I'm just hopeful that we'll see community support across the state for Illinois students in particular who didn't get many opportunities last year. To get back on the fields, the courts, the pitch, and really are excited about this season. So I would welcome folks to find a schedule and of a team local you would support and get out and cheer our students on.
As Dave and I have been at many high school events, it is a lot of fun. The excitement there is real, and it's just cool watching the kids do their stuff out there. But Craig, thank you for joining us. We'll have you back on again when more news breaks. All right.
I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
I appreciate you. That is Craig Anderson, your IHSA Executive Director, and Dave Peroni. Thanks for hopping in with me, and looking forward to starting this football season here in 2 weeks.
All set. Got everything enrolling and got all the information we need on the team, so we're ready to go.